Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, actually, it's after 12 now, so thank you all for joining us today. It's really a very busy, exciting time of year, and it's great that you took the time out of your day to come and be with us at Rotary. I know we've got a great speaker here today. We're so thankful that he's able to join us as well. Looking forward to that. John Harold is going to start us with an invocation, and as he offers thanks, will you also remember George Bailey? He got his heart, and it looks like he's doing great. You can give it a yes. And then also remember family, she was having some surgery today as well. So let's just keep them in our thoughts and prayers. So John, would you
Pray. Oh God, as we gather in the fellowship of Rotary, we're thankful for your blessings and for the guiding principles that bring us together today. Inspire each of us this holiday season to demonstrate through our actions our spoken motto of service above self. Guide each of us to live out our spoken ideals of truth, fairness, goodwill, friendship, and benefit in the businesses we support in our daily living. Lead each of us to do our part to bring life, liberty, happiness, and peace to our small corner, even as we join our efforts with fellow Rotarians around the world. Bless this meeting, our service, the food before us in the hands that prepare.
join the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Never mind, guys. Aaron's gonna come and introduce her leaders together.
This afternoon's meeting. Starting with Mr. Bradley Benfeld, the new arrival with Grange. Commissioner Lewis Davis. Ms. Kelly Bush, Mr. Scott Malone. Team Hal Crombie. Mr. Bill Bullock, Representative David Jenkins and his wife Catherine Jenkins. And Ms. Dobbins from the Columbus Rotary. Thank you.
We have a few birthdays and celebrations today. Saturday, his birthday. He's in Honolulu right now, so. Oh. Tough time with God. Love them anniversary. On Monday, and Mel Jackson will have 7 years on Friday. And then wedding anniversary. Ken and Cheryl Ward, 35 years, Monday, celebrating, congratulations. And then, John and Becky, 24 years on Monday as well, so congratulations to you. We'll have a board meeting today, and I'm like, we're not set up for one, but we'll just meet everything in the corner. There's lots of things going on at the club today, so that's a good thing for them. We did have extra space, so we'll make that work. And if you need a makeup, please feel free to join us. Thank you to everyone who supported Branches of Hope last week with your items that you donated. That was very much appreciated. The sleighs on your table are for Project North Pole, which, and also for the food pockets. So, Barbara said that we are a little bit behind, so please feel free to contribute generously as you are able. Red Cattle Rangers for Saturday. I have the list. We need some more volunteers. I know everybody has something on Saturday, so if you have 30 minutes that you can give, you can come with your family or your child, your children, your spouse, your friend. That would be very helpful. I told someone earlier that we were going to close the doors, we could leave until we're off. We won't really do that, but please look at the schedule and see if you have some time, and we'll keep you going until we get this done. That's very much appreciated. And now I'm very excited to ask Tracy to come and join me while we do our new member induction, and I'll tell you a little bit about Tracy. I'm gonna read her bio, but hopefully you all have had a chance to get to know Tracy a little bit as she's been a guest of the club. But Tracy is the CEO and founder of Joy Inside Tears. She, that's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. She's also the founder and owner of Beautiful Minds. Tears provides mental health and suicide prevention education, resources, advocacy, support, coaching, training, and counseling referral services. Tracy holds an honorary doctorate degree in Christian leadership, a master's in healthcare administration, and a bachelor's in communication. She's a board certified youth mental health coach, a certified peer specialist in mental health. She is a presenter for the National Alliance on Mental Illness in Georgia, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and she's also an adult and teen mental health first aid instructor. Tracy uses her platform as a suicide loss survivor to shed light on the stigma associated with mental health and to prevent suicide through education and early intervention. Even before becoming an official Rotarian, Tracy has been an active member of our club. She has, as you all remember, she shared and presented programs to us, and she also worked with our Rotaract Club. So we know that Tracy is going to do great things with us. She's also a member of the 2025 leadership group class, so we're very excited about that as well. Tracy enjoys several hobbies when she's not working, but the one that I found most interesting was her love of self-therapy, but especially shopping is what she really likes to do. Tracy is such a pleasure to be around. She's always so delightful, and just always has a smile on her face, and does actually work the joy through tears. And so we appreciate her, and we're so excited to welcome her as our newest Rotarian. So. We have several guests for you, but Raylene is going to come and lead us in the four-way test.
So we're gonna do it a little sooner than normal.
Since we normally close our meetings with the four-way test, I'd like for you to stand and join me and let's see it out. I'm going to be part of your induction because we planned it the last minute. The four-way test of the things we think that we do. Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be
So we know that you
try to live your life every day under those four. And one test is we're delighted.
I think we have a few minutes for happy dollars. You'll have to be quick with your happiness, but we really do want to.
Mine was, in, before I said, George is doing well. He's been moved from ICU to a regular room. He's walking around, he's acting more, he's sitting up, and he's talking. Yes.
Well, it's a big day, I'm a kid, so this is a good day. So, my baby boy, today, 45 days his last test of college, for the last 4.5 years. He's worked, he's made good grades, has good friends, an awesome girlfriend, 2 national championships, and was the lead singer of a rock band for 2 years. So, put the can in also, just so that I can get on. For Karen Thompson, 3:30 to 6 is covered for the bell ringing, but she would love to have somebody stand. Please, y'all sign up for this. There's a 30-minute slot. We like to have 2 people at a time for all kinds of reasons. We need to fill it before we leave the room. Thank you.
Before, I wanted to, and you can see that what I've been doing today and yesterday. Yesterday, we picked up 75 children, and we assigned Westwood Methodist, we braked and sponsored those for us. Today, we filled the entire 20-foot box truck up at, Kia. The bikes and all the stuff that they had was amazing. And so it's really, from the road today, I was so excited because I want to tell you, I'm seeing what kids are going to get to see at Christmas. And I can tell you that Christmas morning will be awesome for me because I'll be thinking about all these great looking bikes and toys and dollhouses and everything like that. And I can also tell you that the fact that Salvation Army is not making money. We're at a retail store. So we're drawing there, and that's the problem. So the spelling thing is one of the ways that we're spelling the activities that we're doing. So we're not at a break-even standpoint, and we have been the last couple of years. So bell ringing is very important. It comes right back to local community, and it would help us be more for the Salvation Army. So please do ring for us. We would really appreciate it. It would, I promise, it'll come back to you good deed.
Please come downtown LaGrange on the weekend. We have Fred and Rock Royal Carriages, free carriage ride. We're going on, this is sponsored by the downtown LaGrange. I want to thank them for LaGrange. So come out and be Fred, and if y'all know anybody that want to help for it, so I won't have to. But so we go with our 7th granddaughter on Sunday. From my daughter Katie, she has Lily and Katie. That's her. The other one is that on Thanksgiving Eve, that our brother-in-law had brain cancer. And they had to wanted to operate Thanksgiving Day, but didn't because they didn't have a full staff, needed one. But he had it on Monday, and they got 95% of the tumor, and the results was really, really
Okay, LSBA, first of all, I want to thank everybody who was able to come out to our biggest event last weekend. Nutcracker, we had a couple of thousand people show up to the show there. And a couple of hundred cast and crew, and it was an outstanding performance. We didn't get to see it, hopefully it's for next year. But we have a couple other things, as you know, we have got Christmas memory this Thursday and Friday at LHS with Young Singers of West Georgia, 7 o'clock over those nights. We have Deck the Halls with Donald Davis at LSBA Black Box Theater on Saturday at 10:30 in the morning and 4 o'clock. And then the following week, tickets are going pretty quickly. We have a Christmas Carol radio play, and it's going to be catered by Jen Keating. So get your tickets now for that, and see you. Thanks.
We did a lot a couple weeks ago, but I was told it's under but I just want to shout out to Sandy, this summer she used me and we're sharing the transportation and it saved her life. I'm not the first time she needed a blood transfusion to save her life, so go to one of our Facebook pages, we did a story with the Red Cross, and it's really powerful story. I think it's important to put faces with those who need life-saving blood transfusion, so we know that what we give, it's not just going to a blood bank. So just thank you for those that have supported our Red Cross blood. It is going to people and it is saving their lives. And people are getting more time with their friends and their family.
First 20 days up, this text me and said that they're gonna discharge her.
So many great things happening in our community, change all for sharing. At this time, I'd like to ask you to come and introduce first.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're happy today. So it's a privilege of mine to introduce the all-around good guy, one of our state leaders, Mr. Craig Musso. He currently serves as regional vice president for state government relations for CSX Transportation as a 7-state area responsibility. You all know, we're so fortunate to have a great brand like this for our community. It really helps our business and industry thrive. So it's really an important role in the state. So he's been with the company for 23 years. After that, he was vice president of public affairs for Georgia Textile Manufacturing. He did that for 10 years. He graduated from the University of Georgia. Come on. He graduated in 1990. One of his great old years. With a degree in journalism and minor in political science. He also did 2 years of college baseball at Georgia College in Knoxville before transferring to UGA. Really active in the community and in the state, served on a number of boards, including Georgia Chamber of Commerce and the Board of Trust at the Grady College of Journalism at UGA. He's a 2006 graduate of Leadership Georgia and served on the board of Leadership Georgia in 2010 through 2012. He was appointed by then Governor Nathan Deal and reappointed by Governor Kemp to serve on the board of the Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Agency and is currently a member of the executive committee. He enjoys working with young adults with disabilities and is an immediate past chairman of Exceptional Futures, an organization headquartered in Snellville, his hometown, that provides learning opportunities to young adults with disabilities after they age in the public school system. In addition, he's coached both softball and basketball for Special Olympics and served on the honorary board of Special Olympics of Georgia. He and his wife Kim have been married for 30 years. They live in Salem with their 2 children, Sarah, who's 25, and Davis, who's 22. I don't know if you noticed, you got married the same day of the meeting I did in 1994. Something's been interesting. Like me, you know, married out of his league. First time I met Craig, he and I meeting, one of our early conversations, I remember, he is a massive Georgia Bulldog fan. I mean, he makes like Jake Jones more of a casual fan. We're at an event, we're at dinner, and one of the attendees, sitting not too far from us, was Frank Ross. Now, y'all may or may not know Frank Ross. He's a really handsome fellow, Spaniard. He's also the captain of the UGA 1980 national championship football team. So, we're good a little bit, we're at that age. We were middle schoolers when that national championship took place, so people like, were some of our heroes. We're talking, and he said, you think it would be weird if I went over to second his lap? Sit on the left leg, I was sitting on the right. Please call me welcome, my friend, Greg Woodman, Chief Executive.
That is a 100% true story. He did say no, but he did let me wear his ring. I walked around wearing his national championship ring. It was, of course, at the time, it was the only one we had. Now we have a couple more, and who knows what's going to happen. Thank you very much. Tripp is a great friend. We did mentor during Leadership at Georgia back when you were on board, I believe. When I was going through as a student, you're a great leader here at LaGrange, and it's an honor to be here. Connie, thank you for having me. Mayor, it's great to see you. It's also great to see other people. Bill Bullock, I'm going to talk about a little bit later. Has been great. We learned the word patience with rail, which is also always a good word to know. And also, when Randy Nix and Jeff Brown, who represented this community with such respect and dignity, it's great to see them. One thing about doing government affairs is a lot of representatives and senators, they will come and go over time. And there's not a whole lot that you really remain friends with after they serve their time. These are two gentlemen that fall into that category. Friends, and it's great to see both of you now. Before I get started, I want to go and apologize for that block crossing that made you late for work, for the train board that kept you up late last night, or for that grade crossing you went over that rattled your teeth so bad you think you need to go to the dentist. And a lot of times when people think about the railroad industry, that's what comes to mind when they see the railroads. They think about the railroad industry when things might be inconvenience to them. But when you woke up this morning, you turn on the lights, not as much as in the past, but still powered by coal that's moved by the railroad. Your feet hit the ground of your nice carpet, the chemicals that go into manufacturing that are moved by the railroad. You walked over, turned on your television set that's moved by the railroad. You went and got to your refrigerator, also moved by the railroad. You opened up that refrigerator and got out the orange juice, which is moved by the railroad. You then got in your car that is moved by the railroad, and in some cases maybe even manufactured by the railroad. And you drove on a road the aggregate of which is moved by the railroad. So my point being is that yes, we do tend to, we operate outside. I've always said we're a railroad when we screw up, we do it in front of God and everybody. But we also are really going to keep the economy moving. We keep the economy moving. And I'm very fortunate, as Tripp mentioned, I worked for 10 years with the textile industry. And I was telling Scott this morning when I started, first thing that happened to me when I started, I was in Columbus, Georgia, and LaGrange. And I learned about the textile industry. And I learned about you met its people. The two most amazing people I ever met in my career have been Roger Milliken and Tom Malone. And it's kind of a coming home for me to be here in LaGrange, Georgia, which is just a fantastic community. And just hearing the things that y'all do here, it's really great. And Tracy, I want to congratulate you, but I also want to thank you for wearing the proper colors this morning. But it's a great industry. Like I said, I was born in Georgia. I was raised in Georgia. I went to 2 colleges in Georgia. Played college baseball, and I did until I became baseball. Obviously, I was going to make no money playing college baseball, so it's time to get that up. But I went to 2 colleges, and I worked for 2 industries that made this state: the textile industry and the railroad industry. So what I'm going to do today is talk a little bit about really kind of 3 things. Number one, Georgia's importance to the national freight rail scene, CSX, and the rich history that we have here in Georgia, and then today's operations and really how the industry's had to change. It's a 200-year-old industry, and at the end of the day, it's still steel wheel on steel rail. But we too, just like everyone else, is having to change to be able to maintain our competitiveness. Now, the freight rail industry in Georgia is very significant when you look at it from a national perspective. There are 29 railroads in Georgia. 2 class 1s, CSX and Norfolk Southern. And then you have 27 other short lines. And short line can be something that's 8 miles long, and there's a pretty profitable 8-mile railroad in Sandersville that both Kurt and I know about, or it can be 110 miles long. But those 27 railroads make up, if you think about the railroad industry in Georgia, think about CSX and Norfolk Southern being the I-85, I-75 of the highway, and all these short lines being the off-ramps. So what these short lines do, they serve communities that maybe the bigger railroads could not serve. They maintain the jobs, and then they bring that product to the main highways where CSX and Norfolk Southern take them to their final destination. What that happens. Rail miles, we are 7th nationally in the nation in the amount of rail miles, number 1 in the Southeast, over 4,500 miles of track. We originate about 12th in the nation in originating tons of what we move. That's over 1 in the Southeast, 41 million tons of freight is moved by the railroad that out of Georgia. 6th nationally in the amount of tons that terminate in Georgia. Number 1, of course, in the Southeast, 66 million tons of freight terminate. We are 7th nationally in employment, and number 1 in the Southeast. You want to see the trend here? Over 6,000 employees in the state of Georgia. And I told somebody earlier today, it is rare that I meet someone that doesn't have a story that their neighbor, their uncle, their brother, their father, their mother, their aunt has some sort of connection to the railroad industry. The average wage is $127,000 a year. Jeff and I were talking earlier that there's somebody that worked in the industry, and it's not easy work, but we do pay our employees very well. And we're also the top 10 in the nation in railroad retirees. And one of those big places is really right down the road, Manchester. We have yard. We have an awful lot of employees that live in that area, and therefore they live in the Grange area and the Westport area. Forgive me, I'm a little bit out of 20 hours of work. So it's a big industry. It's very significant to the state what we do here. Yeah, we're also the most capital-intensive industry in the nation. About 1/5 cents out of every dollar we make goes right back into our infrastructure. We don't get a lot of money from the federal government. A lot of times we get confused. People think the federal government actually owns the railroads. That's not true at all. We are an independent company. We're a Fortune 250 company. So we're a very big industry headquartered in Jacksonville, Georgia. Now, the history of the railroad is what's pretty cool. How many of you have played Monopoly? I would expect every hand has gone up. How many of you have owned or landed on the B&O Railroad? At some point in your life, you owned CSX. So the B&O Railroad, which is the oldest railroad in America, it's roots back in 1827. CSX owns the remnants, what's left of that railroad. We'll be celebrating the 200th anniversary of the B&O here in just a couple of years. Now, CSX actually was formed when the Chelsea Railroad, which was the railroad up north, merged with the Seaboard Airlines Railroad, which was down south and headquartered in Jacksonville, and became CSX. Now, the question, we have Norfolk Southern, that's called the NS. We have Burlington Northern Santa Fe, which is called the BNSF. We have the UP, which is called the Union Pacific. These are all the major Class 1 railroads in the nation. We have the CP, which just merged with Kansas City Southern, that's now called the CP KCS. And then CSX. Right? So what does CSX stand for? CSX stands for Chesney, Seaboard, CS, and then the X, when the companies were merging, the companies were merging, they didn't have a name yet. And the attorney put an X down, just CSX, and it never changed. True story. Now, what we tell you is C stands for Chesney, which is the northern part of our territory. S stands for Seaboard, and then X stands for all others, because it makes up a lot of press stories about places railroads. And when I'll get to that is when I talk about there are two lines that run here through LaGrange. One is the AMWP, the Atlanta West Point. And then the line goes up. Now, this is what I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing that you can't look up on Google and know, but that was my job today, right? So I'll send you the truck. But here we go, two lines intersect. One is the AMWP, which was started in 1847 as the Atlanta and LaGrange Railroad. The other is what now is, like I said, we call our line goes up, and that line was completed in 1908. Now, these two lines basically merged in LaGrange, and the AWP running up through Union City, and then the line though heads out towards Manchester, and then connects with what we call Fitzgerald Stone, which is, you know, it heads further down south. Now we run about 40 trains a day on those lines. So there's an awful lot of freight moving through LaGrange. Now, from the CSX standpoint, we, like I said, this is one of our largest states in terms of freight miles, in terms of activity and employment. We have about 2,600 miles of track, including yard and side tracks. We have about 1,600 miles of that as main line, and we run literally from Dawson to Savannah and from West Point over to Augusta. We employ about 1,700 Georgians, so a lot of people we employ. Now, we operate one of the largest classification yards in the East Coast, is at Waycross, which is known as the Rice Yard. We process 1 million rail cars a year in Waycross. So you think 40 trains is a lot? We run 65 to 70 trains a day out of Waycross. And if any of you have ever been to Folkestone, Georgia, the Folkestone Funnel, there are people that come from all over the world to watch our trains move, which is kind of crazy if you ask me, but that's what they do. And I've met a lot of them before. They love to come and have books and pictures. They know more about the railroad than I do. And they like to tell me about it, so that's okay. We intersect Waycross from 5 different locations, which is also similar to how we come into Atlanta. So we come to Atlanta from 5 different locations. We come to Augusta, from Athens, from LaGrange, from Manchester, and then up from Waycross. Then you throw Norfolk Southern that comes into Atlanta from 3 different directions. You have basically 8 railroads merging into the city of Atlanta. That's a lot of traffic. We complain about 75, 85, and 20. Whatever we think about with that many lines coming through. The amount of money we spend a year just to maintain the railroad is about $200 million a year in Georgia. And that's just to keep the railroad running. That does not include new projects. That does not include new rail. So there's a lot going on. Now, there's one key line in Georgia that we do not own, but that we operate. And that's what's called the WA, the Western Atlantic Railroad, which runs from Chattanooga to Atlanta, and it's owned by the state of Georgia. Of course, famous for the Great Locomotive Case, which I learned something this year about that too. The Great Locomotive Case happened when Andrew Gravers stole the Georgia General, which is housed at the Southeastern Museum in Kennesaw. There's the Union troops running with the train, the Confederate troops not far behind, where they eventually caught the raiders in up in Dalton, Georgia, and they were hanged. Those were also, I did not know this is a little fact. I learned this recently. The first Medal of Honor recipients were those that stole the train during the Civil War. And next year in September, we're going to put on a train going out of Kennesaw all the existing living Medal of Honor recipients, and they will take a reenactment type train from Kennesaw up to Dalton, which is going to be pretty cool. I've had the honor of being working on that project. Like I said, we enter Atlanta from 5 different directions, and again, that becomes a real central point. Now, when you also look at CSX, and we can talk about West Point, Georgia, the Kia plant obviously has been huge. It helped when you talk about the textile industry, when it was down, obviously, it's always went down. When Kia came, that was able to help provide employment. But also one of the reasons Kia is there is because of the railroad. That's because of the railroad is right there. Kia also has another plant over in Alabama that runs on that same line. So familiar with CSX. And that's how one of the main reasons that they came and put the plant plant there. If the Rivian plant gets built, which I think it will, especially if they get this federal funds that they're applying for, CSX will serve that. We also serve the Hyundai plant. We get that piece of the Hyundai plant. Yeah, it's going to have some automotive manufacturing is very key to CSX. We also have what we call an intermodal facility. Some people refer to it as inland ports. We have our own intermodal facility in Fairburn, Georgia. And then also we serve the inland port in Murray County, which is called the Appalachian Regional Port. Now, we're looking forward to being able to serve the LaGrange inland port once that gets built. In early stage discussions, I know, talking to County earlier, Lynch was here a few weeks ago, talking about the port. I'm sure he touched on that. Still early stages, but we are hopeful that that is going to be built here within the next several years. The second thing is one, and there will be a second one that is in Gainesville, Georgia. That will be served by the summer. And the number 3 on the books is LaGrange. And we are working closely with the development party, Scott Latin about it, our development person, who is a go-getter, to say the least. But, you know, we see that as something that we have really big benefit, not only to the LaGrange and County, but also for CSX as well. Looking forward to that. Now, we work also with communities, and we understand that, like, you go back to what I said at the beginning, but we also understand that we have a responsibility for the communities through which we operate. And one of the biggest examples of that, to me, is the Thread, which is a fantastic event, fantastic project here in LaGrange. Thanks to Bill Bullock. About 4 years ago, we left a meeting in the city of LaGrange. I was driving out. Bill and I met. We met with a team of people from CSX and LaGrange, and we have this great deal set up. We're going to be able to complete the Thread, I guess, is what's needed. You correct me if I'm wrong. And at the same time, CSX is going to be able to take down a couple of bridges, close a couple of problematic crossings. There are 6,000 grade crossings in Georgia. When I was hired, I was told by my boss jokingly, your goal is to close every single grade crossing in the state. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen. The point being is that whenever there is a grade crossing, there's an opportunity for something bad. So we like to close those. We had worked with Bill and with the city to close a couple of what we call strategic crossings, very problematic from a revenue perspective. When we get this project back, everybody's having a couple of projects. My transportation guy I invited to come today, set back ago, and he could be here. But everybody's happy. We had one, sometimes it just takes one, right? One man said no. And thanks to, and it was frustrating. It was frustrating for CSX, for those that had worked very hard on this. I know it's frustrating for the city. I was, to be quite honest with you, I was embarrassed about it with one person holding up. We got it done. And I'd love to sit here and tell you it's because I'm a great lobbyist and I was able to work with folks. I'd love to tell you that I was that influential within the company, but the guy retired. We got it done. So we're working on that project. I guess as we speak right now, and I look forward to coming down here when it's done and seeing that whole thing. It's a great project, and I think the Thread is a wonderful project here for the city. Now, I'm here to tell you all these great things going on with rail, like we're doing well. We're struggling as well, just like a lot of you and your companies are still struggling post-COVID. We lost a lot of employees when COVID hit. A lot of people went home and just decided not to come back to work. I don't really want it. And if you guys know, please let me know. So we struggled, and that recovery from COVID was, and if you look at the history from a railroad point, everything's, cyclical, but it comes down and bottom down, and the recovery from COVID went this way, and then it went that way. And we weren't prepared, like so many others were not prepared. So we were at a point in 2021, we hired 2,000 new employees in 2021 and 22, 2,000. Our employment numbers stayed the same because we had that many people that were leaving while they were trying to bring in people. The other problem was, and again, I think others in other industries know, is the retention rate is so bad. We have a training center in Atlanta, so if you get hired at a railroad, whether you went out to West Virginia, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, you come to Atlanta to train. I mean, it's a ready center, and it's an amazing place for a railroad training perspective. We'll bring you in, we will start paying you while we train you for 6 to 8 weeks. Then we'll send you back out on the, and you're making a good wage. We're also paying for your stay while you're in Atlanta. Then we'll send you back for basically in the field training. Then we'll bring you back to train, and then you go back out. We can't keep these employees. We had a guy who started the job, went through this whole training for 2 months. He gets on the train in Manchester, takes the train, drives the train, as an engineer, to weight loss. First drive. Now he's just been training for 2 months. First drive, calls his wife, says, come to weight loss and pick me up, I quit. And left the train. So, I mean, this stuff happens in the railroad. So, and I tell you, it's fun. I think I'm now at that age, we're both at that age where we can talk about these to our kids. And talk about the millennium and trying to work with them way too tougher in railroad. But our HR, because say rail work outside, you're working at the elements, it's not easy work. And God bless them, because I'll tell you, I do not. There's some hard working people I've ever met in my life. But they've also people that have been with the company for 20 years, 30 years, 15 years. Now we're having to bring in a new type of worker. And we're having to adjust how we work with them. And you may or may not have paid attention to what happened a couple of years ago. We came this close, about this time 3 years ago, we were this close to a railroad strike. And we were going to shut down the entire time. We had to get what's called the Presidential Emergency Board come in. That's basically the president. The Biden administration, and I'll say this, I'm not here to say, whatever you think, whatever you live with. The Biden administration did a very good job in helping us avoid a major strike. But he appoints a board, and then basically the board says, okay, here's the railroad's points, here's the union's points, okay, this is going to be the deal. Everybody agrees to it. Well, the unions, in addition to getting a 24% retroactive pay increase, still weren't quite happy with what had gone on. What they wanted was what they call paid time leave. Paid time leave, which it really got, but it didn't quite stay that way. And they were unhappy with the way the deal had finished. So we get that done. So we're feeling pretty good. And then January 22 rolls around. And then we have a massive derailment in East Palestine, North Southern derailment. East Palestine happens in Ohio. So you think about what happened to you. So you had a perfect storm of issues. And this is, I'm leading up to why the challenges that we're facing right now. So you have this major event, which, to be honest with you, and my friends at North Southern were here, they would tell you the same thing. They handled it terrible. They handled it terribly. So you have a bad PR problem right there. Then you had the Secretary of Transportation, Buttigieg at the time, who at the time was being talked about as possibly the presidential candidate to take Biden's place, and he's not running for secretary. At the time, he was very high up there. He's a no-show for a month there. So the Republican Senate decides to take advantage of that, let's take down Buttigieg, and I would submit to you that that's part of the reason why he did kind of all of a sudden go away. Well, they go after Buttigieg. Well, Buttigieg says, I'll show you. I'm going to go to East Palestine, Ohio, and I'm going to introduce the strictest railroad safety implementation ever. Well, he basically had the union talking points from everything they did not get in the PE board just a couple months later. Well, then you have a guy senator out of Ohio that gets upset. His name is J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance introduces the Rail Safety Act, which is basically, he cut and pasted the union talking points, everything that they wanted but did not get in the most recent negotiation. And J.D. Vance is pushing that very, very hard. And it's You know, so I'm sitting here from a railroad's perspective, not from a Republican or Democrat. People ask me, are you a Republican or Democrat? I say, I'm on railroad. So I'm sitting here looking, so Jake Vance, you know, he's named as vice president, and he gets elected. Is that good or bad for my industry? Is that good or bad for my paycheck? Right? So he's elected, and it seems in the Senate, for the moment, is tampered down a little bit, but it has been picked up by another representative in Pennsylvania that derailment happened right on the Ohio Pennsylvania state line. And we're up against a lot. So we've been facing this, and a lot is in that bill we already do. But it also did not address the real reason for the derailment, which was these things called wayside protectors. These wayside protectors are positioned every so often on the railroad. Again, we talk about steel, right? That steel wheel running on a steel rail. Sometimes I'm really, the reason I'm a tourist major, I was terrible at science. But sometimes that's going to get hot. If the steel gets real hot, what happens? It's going to change configurations, and that's not good. If the steel wheel changes configurations on steel rail, it's going to fall off. So there were some changes that were made there. Norfolk Southern just did not have them in place as much as people thought that it should have. So we're okay with that, and we continue to work with those that are supporting the bill. But it has led to an awful lot of other challenges legislatively, particularly among the Surface Transportation Board, which regulates the railroad industry at a federal level, as well as the Federal Railroad Administration. So we see, now that we've got an election, we'll see what happens. But because we're so highly regulated at the federal level, this is something that we have to continue to follow. And I was actually up in DC last week at our Christmas party, which was a great event. But we've got all these regulators at this Christmas party, and I'm sitting there watching my dreams. You're eating my food. You better make sure I have a paycheck coming in the next couple of years. We'll see. We feel really good. We feel the industry doesn't have its challenges. Moving forward, we need to grow a little bit better. We continue to serve people that we serve are common carriers, so a lot of ways we're obligated to serve. But we also know that we're going to have our challenges moving forward. At a state level, we have, in my opinion, one of the best governors in the nation. We also have one of the best DOT commissioners in the nation. They understand the railroad industry, and we work very closely with both of them. They've been very, very helpful to us. As we move through, we don't see that to change down the road. Definitely not over the next 2 years. One other thing I'll touch on, because it was brought up, is passenger rail. So the day I started, my okay time to, no one's left yet, I haven't seen them do this, but I heard the airport stop doing so. Okay. Couple of minutes, okay. The day I started, the Georgia Regional Transportation was my first ever job. So I go to this meeting, sitting on everything, I'm cool. And I'm ready to be right here with CSX. But got credit votes and the most preferred alternative for commuter rail in Georgia is on the CSX line running from Athens to Atlanta. So I almost went back to the office, repacked everything. I unpacked, thought I was going to be fired and going home. Because I'll tell you, I live out of Athens. And I always thought, my wife and I said, Athens is 3%, as I truly believe, and it hangs in my office, that if you take your clearance, you're a good person at Sunday school and you die, you're going to Athens. I just really believe that. And so we had always thought that we could move to Athens, and I just make the plan. Well, when I went to work for CSX, I didn't understand just how difficult that might be. We actually run in the CSX, there's more commuter and passenger trains that run in CSX than any other railroad in the nation. We run it in Miami, we run it in Virginia, Maryland, up in Chicago. We feel like we know where it's good to be able to run passenger rail. And we have 4 week-on pillars that have to be satisfied before we talk about number one, it's got to be safe. Because you include passenger trains with freight trains, that's not a good mix. Number 2, you have to include capacity. We want to grow the business. So we want to know that we can continue to serve our existing customers and hopefully future customers down the road. Number 3, you have to be identified. We don't want to be at fault if there's a train, if there's a commuter train we don't operate that has an accident. And then number 4, we're not going to pay for it. People invest in our company, and I'm sure there are a few CSX stockholders here. People invest in our company for the freight that we move, not the people that we move. At one point, commuter trains, passenger trains made up 10% of our rail starts. 10%, and made up less than 1/10 of 1% of our revenue. So we actually lose money when we run passenger trains. But we still, as a matter of fact, I have a call tomorrow with GI, which we're going to talk about studying of passenger rail running from Chattanooga down to Savannah. Amtrak has been very aggressive in wanting to put new passenger rail lines all throughout the nation, but especially in Georgia. And really, the big ones is from Nashville to Savannah. We are required by law to talk to Amtrak whenever they want to do something like that. So it is something out there we understand. Again, listen, I was here an hour early today because I had to get through Atlanta. I don't care, unfortunately, the traffic wasn't too bad. I understand how bad traffic is, but do know when we talk about commuter rail. We're also talking about a company that's a for-profit company that they're running those lines on. So I'll stop right there and happy to answer any questions. Yes, sir.
Two questions, one serious and one silly. The serious question is, are we better positioned in Georgia not to have an East Palestine incident? The silly one is, how much do you have to pay the artists to do all the wonderful art on the tree?
Good questions. I'll answer the first question, the second question first. There is a lot of incredibly wasted talent out there. Because it's funny, I got asked to speak at every university about art. They literally called me and said, would you come and talk about all the wonderful art on the rail cars? So the kid, so I went out in our yard and I took all these pictures and I put it up there and I said, this is not art. This is trespassing. This is vandalism. But yeah, it's amazing. I say that there's a lot of very, very talented people out there wasting their talents. Great question on East Palestine. One thing that I've had to do a lot in the last 3 years is go in and reassure cities and counties that you are good. You know, we have a very, very proud of our safety record. The accident has led us to go and look at our own wayside protectors, and we have implemented work as a result of what happened in East Palestine. We constantly are working on training with first responders, how to, in the event that there is an accident, how do you react? How are you supposed to do? And we feel really pretty good about that. I mean, East Palestine, the one thing about East Palestine, no one was killed. Not even a window pane was shattered. There's a reason when we talk, if we say something bad, we say, oh, it looked like a train wreck. Because it's just the way it looks on television and things like that. But what we do, because there were some hazardous chemicals. I was involved in believe it or not, I was involved in a derailment that we had in Maryville, Tennessee about 8 years ago that was worse than East Palestine. No one was killed. But it was the way CSX responded to the accident that made all the difference in the world. We actually went on tour to Tennessee because that responded to accident. Because the first time was great. They're going to write books one day about how bad a job Norfolk Southern did with their public affairs and public relations. And a lot of it was that. But we have made some adjustments as a result, and I feel very comfortable. Those 40 trains run through this area. You're good. Yes. Yes, sir.
My question was, I live in West Point, and I wanted you guys to do a wonderful job of infrastructure. You've done a lot of meetings in that area. But any idea that you can talk about volume? Because I certainly can see that the volume has changed a tremendous amount, and that is indeed a lot of traffic flow is blocked out. And so interesting to hear what you think about that, and I think it's gonna get bigger with all the things coming. So I wanted to ask, just the last 5 years, what's the traffic increase been like?
It's really been kind of steady. I mean, if you look at the growth of the railroad industry, it's not doing this like we want it to. It's been bumping along, maybe a little bit of an increase. Now, if the inland port gets built here, you'll see significant investment from us in new infrastructure, new capacity. And as Kia continues to grow and do as well as they do, you'll see us continue to invest in that area. I mean, investment in new infrastructure is what we want to do. We want to increase that capacity. And we know that, again, going back to what I said at the very beginning, is we operate outside. We know that sometimes we get inconvenience for folks, but we're hopeful as we pick up, as the business does pick up, that we'll be able to invest in more infrastructure.
Thank you, Craig. We really appreciate all that wonderful information and in honor of speaking today, we'll make a donation to polio funds, which is Rotary's effort to eradicate polio worldwide. So we really do appreciate y'all. Please join me in thanking Craig one more time. Next week, Winter of Honor, Twin Cedars Foster Program will be our speaker, and then we will not meet on Christmas Day. We will not meet on New Year's Day. Our next meeting is January 8th with Dr. Ken Porter. He'll be sharing some information about the history of Mardi Gras, so that will be very interesting. So we look forward to that. Thank you to our visitors and guests. We hope you plan to come back and join us. And with that, we wish you all a very wonderful rest of your day and week.
Thank you.